It's time to wake up. The show is about to start with lots of stories about food and a bit of heart. When it comes to Joanne, no, you won't find no faults. But if you mess with the wolves, you might get the shawls. It's time for Mornin'. It's Mornin' with Bill and Joe. It's time for Mornin'. It's gonna be a heck of a show. It's Bill and Joe. It's Bill and Joe.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Mornin'. How's everybody doing?
Meh. Very unenthusiastic. I recall you mentioning some, unless maybe I'm completely making this up, but like there was like certain like go-to things to rile up the crowd, like in a comedy thing or something like that you absolutely hate.
Oh,
Like,
my God.
let me hear you. Like, yes, you gotta do
Yes.
that. I'm your crowd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. How are we doing today? Oh, you can do better than that. How's everybody doing today? Oh, that's better. Even though it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same every time, maybe even less enthused.
Yes.
It's like, it was rehearsed. The host or MC rehearsed it that way. So they just did it without actually listening to their audience. I find it so annoying.
It's the corporate spirit building things that they go to once a year. There's an MC. It's got a list, bullet point list of things must say to crowd first every day, and that's all there. Yes.
Where it's like, turn to the person on your right. Hey, give them a high five. Turn to the person on your left. It's like, no, I don't want it. Who are these people? I don't know. I don't like them.
It's so weird. It seems like all of that would work so well on you. You're just such that type of person that would work very well under those type of crowd rising situations. Like just made for you.
It's all so performative. And anything where I have to perform and I'm not getting paid to perform is a travesty in my book.
Speaking of crowds, I'm sorry. Speaking of travesties, I'm told you might have to show a picture because I can't be the only one that's ever heard of this person. Apparently, you're no longer Sarah Hyland and Leah Remini's butt baby. And or feeling
Mila Kunis.
Mila Kunis, yes.
Yeah, yesterday I got an email from my aunt and she sent me, I'll put them up. She sent me these two pictures. Now, I thought, oh my gosh, this looks so much like me. This aunt who sent me the pictures looks a lot like me. Whenever my mother sees the both of us, she'll then call me Lisa all the time because I look so much like her sister. So I was thinking, wait, are these old pictures of my Aunt Lisa or maybe my grandmother? Because they looked kind of like older, like from the 40s or 50s. Well, I asked her and she's like, bless your heart. No, this was like a Hollywood starlet known for these like film noir kind of films. Her name's Jane Greer.
That look.
And I then started looking at all these pictures and I was like, this, I feel like really looks like me in such a weird way. And so if there's ever a biopic, I need to be first on the list. We got to make it happen.
So, all right. I don't know if obscure star, 1930s, and biopic necessarily gel together in the same sentence or say the same pitch to the Hollywood executive. I don't want to get your hopes up here.
Yeah, well, I haven't done enough research on her. I've mainly just been looking at pictures of her and then looking at pictures of me. But when I eventually do a deep dive into her life, I'm sure there is scandal and intrigue.
Yes. You do have that look about you that one of those elongated cigarette holders would accentuate.
Sure. Well, I don't want to get these nails dirty.
And there's very much a Ice Queen, maybe she could kill me vibe of lawn sleeve vibe. Basically, I'm slowly but surely dressing you up as Cruella de Vil, I'm realizing.
No, but it's like, look at this tiny gun that I fit in my tiny purse that I'm going to shoot you with,
And then immediately and coolly just go right back out into the party as if nothing had happened. Yeah, I can see you doing all that.
Oh, yeah, just reapplying my lipstick after, like it's no big thing. Speaking of criminal trials,
Or not.
I did have jury duty. I left all of you on that cliffhanger last week. I was as a call-in telephone juror. Would I have to show up? I did. And would I get put on a trial? I did not. And here's why. Here is why. We went there, we did the whole watching the videos about the importance of being a juror. Also, there's a video about implicit bias and how to not let your bias affect how you would look at a case or at a defendant. So we do all that, and then we're sitting and we're waiting, and they aren't calling anyone over to the courthouse yet. Like, it's a little weird. Maybe an hour later, the guy says, well, there were 2 trials scheduled to start today that we needed juries for, and both of them canceled. Both of them found, solution or some sort of
settled. Yeah.
settled. So there were no trials, so we were all dismissed with our certificate that we're good for the next 6 years. So it really worked out in my favor.
I really thought you were going to be more into actually being picked. I mean, all you are is true crime.
Well, okay, so as we were waiting, I was sort of feeling like it could be cool. It could be cool. And I think I have a lot of bias, but I would really try not to. Yeah.
I wonder if you say it like that. This is because the cliches and you see it in sitcoms and stuff like that. The go-to is everyone just tries to be crazy, racist, or crazist if you really want to double down to get out of jury duty. But I wonder if someone did something like what you just did and act like they want it too much. I wonder if that's the new way to get out of jury duty, where they just find that to be the red flag. Like, how could this person possibly want this as much as you clearly appear to? Because I recall the last time I did it, shockingly, it was a slow time in my life. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to get a case. Why not? I've got nothing else going on.
Yeah.
And I must have come off as so eager looking because there's nothing, absolutely nothing. I think we had several different in the 48 hours, several different cases that they were asking us about. I'm like, there's no way they're not going to pick me, and just not even close. Like,
Wait,
I
that's
think
actually,
I had that needy look in my eyes.
it's kind of sad. Like, it's like constantly getting picked over for, kickball in school. You're like, but really? I'm not even getting picked last. I'm just not getting picked. That kind of feels bad.
It felt very bad. Thank you for reminding me. I
Yeah.
guess that would be triggering. But yeah, by the way, when you said the kickball thing, I immediately just had a vision of Lady Justice with her blindfold playing a kickball game. And like every time they pitch the ball to her, she misses it. She got her blindfold on. Oh, Lady Justice.
Yeah, and you're trying to throw it right at her foot, and she still can't even manage.
But she'd be good in bed. The blindfold thing seems to me that she makes her a little kinky.
Is that representative of, being unbiased?
Yeah, Justice is blind.
Yeah, okay.
Justice is blind, but also a freak in the sheets. I think that's actually the whole thing. Yeah, that's
brutal.
it.
Speaking of brutal, how was your week?
I saw Gino and Keanu last night. They have a lovely apartment.
How was
that? It was great. It was good seeing them again. Oh boy, I know you're the hardest working girl in YouTube show business, but the show that Gino does and then Keanu does her own one, they're like both 3 hours. It's unbelievable. I felt like I was hoarse afterwards.
Yeah.
But
they do it. They stream it live, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they do the whole viewer participation type thing. A lot of people were making fun of my Star Wars toys, which leads me to hopefully believe that perhaps they're watching us as well. Specifically me selling my Star Wars toys. But yeah, no, it was fun.
That's great. Oh, God, This is really on brand for me. I started watching Dexter.
How have you never seen that before? Yes, it
I
is
don't
on.
know. I don't
Oh
know.
boy, we got to cue
Yeah,
the American Psycho graphic.
sure.
Oh,
Uh, so far so good, but it is what's so interesting about the shows that were made in the early aughts and about like, like the first 10 years of the 2000s, which I believe is when it was made.
sound
Like
about right.
stylistically, they are all so similar and strange to me. Like super close-ups and some of the like devices that they use in terms of like narration and freeze frame and like certain things, it's just of the time. So it's like you're opening a time capsule to sort of the TV trends that were most popular. It's kind of funny.
There's also certain shows that you'll see, even if it's just a poster for them, or maybe a very brief commercial where you're like, voiceover. Oh, voiceover, narrator
Me.
thing. They're going to do that thing. And
Yeah.
Dexter, you look at that, you're like, of course, he's talking throughout the entire show
Yeah.
about how he's bad, but he's good at being bad and making sure that only bad people get his bad.
It's
And saying a
justified.
version of that over and over and over again in breathy, you know,
Yeah.
sort of overly open throat styled ways. But I
I'm
assume
only 2 episodes in so far. However, man, so they do these flashback scenes to when he's a kid and his father is a police officer. And I noticed they're all just sweaty. It's the strangest thing. The makeup department was like, let's just have them glistening the whole time. And I'm like, this feels unnecessary to the point where it's distracting. This is all I can look at now. I don't even care that he's killing cats. I care that he won't like mop up his sweat. What's going on?
does it take place in New Orleans?
Oh, Miami, Florida. So I guess they're trying to,
Okay.
unless he moved. I don't know. He's now in Miami. As a kid, I don't know where he grew up.
I'm surprised because I'm sure his voiceover references all the fun times back in NOLA, where it's both sexy and humid, but there's this strange voodoo history mixed with great music and him killing people. I've seen every season of that episode right now in my mind's eye without ever having seen 5 minutes of it. I
But
think
you've
I know
never
the show.
seen it?
Never seen it once.
Oh, yeah, you're not far off.
Thank you. Yeah.
Speaking of doing the bare minimum,
Nice.
wow. You guys, we have a new mascot for our bare minimum segment, and that is Robert Kennedy Jr. Junior? Is he a junior?
Oh, sure is. Robert Kennedy. This story would be even weirder if it was Robert Kennedy.
No, it is. I just looked at his name in print and I was like, oh yeah, RFK. That makes sense. He says he left a dead bear in Central Park as a prank. No,
Well,
that's
you're not
not,
going to leave it in Times Square, Joe.
you know what,
Do the
fair.
math.
But this isn't even the weirdest part of the story to me. It's the fact that he videoed the telling of the story, which he told to Roseanne Barr and put up on his Instagram.
Yeah.
Strange.
There is
Apparently,
also, he has a very matter of fact way of telling it too. That is very
also,
strange. Yeah.
but like
It,
also what is going on with him? Did you watch the video? His voice? There's like, does he have an actual medical condition?
oh, sure. Yeah. No, his voice has always been like that. That's why I always thought it was so weird how weirdly narcissistic it was for him to run for president to begin with, because his voice is so jarring and off-putting and something that you could never get away with if your last name wasn't Kennedy. Politics-wise, it's very hard to listen to. Now, there's a
Well, Bill,
technical.
it takes one to know one. I hope people thought we were frozen. It actually looks like you are. That's funny. Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry. Great. Let's
I
move
always
on.
feel like that you use it against me, but okay. Go ahead.
So apparently there was going to be a New Yorker article coming out with this little factoid that he knew could
Yeah,
be
you want to get ahead of
damaging.
it.
So he got ahead of it by doing this video. So
By
basically,
calling Roseanne.
I guess so. This was years ago. He said he was heading to a falconry excursion. Can it get any more Kennedy than that? I don't think so.
They're
A
all like
falconry,
they're entering Wes Anderson territory. Go ahead.
truly. So he was going with friends to, I don't know, excurge falcons when a woman driving ahead of him hit and killed a young bear with her vehicle. He says he put it in his own vehicle, intending to skin it and eat the meat, but the day got away from him, as it does when you got raw meat in the back. Eventually, he says he was in Manhattan and needed to get the bear carcass out of his vehicle. I assume it was starting to smell. His friends, fueled by alcohol, concocted the Central Park plan as a prank, he said, adding he was not drunk himself. Of course. Responsible is what that bear smuggler is. So during the time in Central Park, there had been a lot of bike accidents, and it was getting a lot of media attention. So he and his friends thought it would be funny if they made it look like the bear was hit by a bicycle. Two women walking their dogs found the dead bear and alerted authorities. They researched the crime scene, figured out it was not from a bike. Okay, this was a bear that was hit at a high speed. He did say he was worried because his prints were all over that bike, but I guess they didn't find out. But this did get like news and media attention, and they didn't know who did it for a while. But now here's the thing. Possessing a bear without a tag or permit or illegally disposing of a dead bear are offenses punishable by fines of up to $250 in New York. But charges cannot be brought for violations that occurred more than a year ago. So it's unlikely that he will receive any punishment from this. Bill, I gotta know. You're going on a falconry excursion with your buddies. You see a dead bear. What is your first thought?
Well, when one of the main things that you'll find most sociopaths do when in the middle of trying to make whatever bad thing they did slightly more palatable is they never tell the whole truth, and they throw in all these buffers to make it seem less bad. There's no lady that hit the bear. He hit the bear. And
Yeah.
he just did. There's
I
like
kind of figured
so much-
that.
Yeah, there's so many things. I also would say it is interesting. I think the fine was probably less money than whatever bike they probably had to buy at some.
Yeah, right. What a waste of a bike.
No kidding. Although, boy, I would have been more excited about finding the free bike than the bear if I stumbled upon all of this in the park. I don't see you doing well. Also, bare minimum. I mean, you were the initial mascot of this segment.
Oh my God, just trying to get a dead bear into my car.
Oh
The
yeah,
effort. There's no way. But when I first heard this, Bill, the first thing I thought was like, there's nothing more Kennedy than this. Just weird and rules not applying to them
yeah.
and way elaborate. More elaborate than it needs to be.
A thousand times, yes. It's just so something like it's very much like a super entitled turn of the 20th century Yale pledging for a frat thing.
Yeah.
It's like kind of that vibe. You know, it's just a lot of white dudes in khakis smoking pipes, saying things like bully while chuckling to themselves as they put this poor dead bear cub into some place that they find to be very charming.
Yeah.
And that we'll all live in infamy, gents, and saying things like it's just that it's all of that. Yeah.
Or I wonder if, RFK Jr. is like the alpha in this pack, and he's like, "Hey guys, let's pick up this bear," and all the friends are like, sure, sounds fun. Okay, yeah, we'll bring it back to your house. No, we're gonna bring it to Central Park. Oh, yeah, dude, yeah, totally. What the fuck, Gary? What is he saying? Oh yeah, totally. Like I like to think that these friends of his are just, I don't know, cucks who just do whatever he says. I don't know.
I'm picturing it, and then but they do it for the hopes that afterwards they might get to double team someone like Marilyn Monroe. They put on all the effort for the bear, so that they could get the starlet that comes with being a Kennedy afterwards. That would be my thought, but
Sure, yeah.
oh man. So
Do
I
you
mean, it's
think?
basically RFK 2024 for sure now. I
Well,
mean,
I was gonna say, do you think this is gonna help him or hurt him
he's
at the
got
polls?
he's got the punk to vote. He's got that nailed. Ashton Kutcher is definitely going for him now. Yeah, boy, what a way.
Punked. At first, I didn't get it. Then
Oh
I
yeah,
did.
yeah. That so would have been a rejected pitch and punked. Like they'd be at a board meeting, like, yeah, wait, what?
Mhm.
Central? No. Next. Ashton Kutcher would have fired that guy if he had pitched the Bear in Central Park.
Or Ashton would have then been like, okay, me in a bear suit. How does that sound? Then they would have been like, yes, okay.
Yeah,
Let's do
they
it.
could make it more about Ashton and his bear suit. I mean, bear suits are always funny to quote Christopher Walken.
All right.
Oh man,
Speaking of, how do I segue this?
whenever you're not sure, it ends up being awful. So I can't wait. Well, you can hear the
Speaking
wheels
of
cranking.
manly apparati.
Apparati. I keep forgetting that you've been taking Latin courses.
This is, Olympics are still happening. We are here to bring you all the important coverage of the Olympics, especially one French pole vaulter.
By the way, of course, a pole vaulter. This is, this is almost as fill in the blank, Mad Libby lame as the bear thing was weird. French Olympic pole vaulter Anthony Amorati is finally speaking out after his penis was credited by the internet with costing him gold in Paris. His new swinging dick of the internet told the French Athletics Federation that his performance was, quote, a big disappointment and that he's a bit gutted. He sounds more British. The 21-year-old who could turn into the Wilt Chamberlain of the pole vaulting world would have cleared 5.7 meters on his third attempt over the weekend, but his bulge got in the way. And now the rest is history. I recall first reading this and thinking, they're overdoing this. And then I watched the footage and that's pretty much exactly what happened. I was 100% physically, but I was missing a bit of pole vault. I don't even know what that means, Amorati. How crazy is it life for Amorati now that his penis has garnered him so much attention? Fans are making digital art for this guy like he's an Olympic hero. He's also a viral sensation on Google Trends, where fans are going crazy for the guy who failed the Olympics because of his penis. This is about a day ago. I'm sure there's many an update. Joe, is this the real hero of the Olympics so far?
So I think that men and women probably view this pretty differently. And I only say that because Douglas and I viewed this pretty differently.
I like it already.
I asked him, have you seen the video of the pole vaulter who lost because his penis hit the bar? And Douglas was like, yeah. And I was like, how sad. And Douglas was like, no, it's the best thing to ever happen to him. It's like everyone now knows he has a huge dick. And I'm like, oh, but he went there to get a gold medal. Doug's like, no, this is better. So Bill, are you in agreement that this is the best thing to happen to this guy?
You and I were talking about this before. Like, so many of them go going there, realizing that they don't have a chance in hell, and might as well just enjoy the pomp and circumstance and cardboard beds that is the Olympics. And I don't know how this guy was known in the pole vaulting community, if indeed he did have some type of a chance were it not for his huge hog. But yeah, no, I think that he wins.
Yeah.
Good question. I recall you always saying that you find penises to be very aggressive. I've never heard it put that way
Yes.
before. But
They're
this is
called a one-eyed monster for a reason.
but this has
Terrifying.
got to be the most aggressive penis story in the history of aggressive penis stories. You got the athleticism. It's a pole vaulting competition. You
Mhm.
lose because of it. And you don't just lose, the penis actually knocks the thing down. Like the whole thing is aggressive.
You know, it's interesting. What if, in fact, the other countries are not your competitors, but your own penis is? It's like your penis is trying to prevent you from getting that gold. And you're like, I gotta thwart my penis. You know?
That sounds like a Dexter voiceover. The all right, Joe. First date. Looks like the guy's gonna pay, which I know is don't really all you care about. Oh, he's got a French accent. About midway through, you ask him what he does for a living. Not only is he a pole vaulter, he was the guy whose penis knocked down the good. Do we go to second date for that or check, please?
I'm curious. I just am curious. I gotta stick around.
Interesting
But
choice.
I think much like an Olympic spectator, I wouldn't participate in the pole vault. I just want to watch.
Actually, I might have to look at this video again. I'm trying to remember exactly. And we're forgetting exactly how tight and specific these pants were to show
Oh,
its
they're
core.
wearing, it's essentially like a singlet, like you would see a wrestler wearing. It's a very tight, thin, unitard looking type thing.
What if he spinal tapped it and it was just cucumber wrapped in saran wrap? Just to make himself look good and his own vanity is what?
Okay, Bill, if we're doing it, it's got to be deli meat. A cucumber, that will look too fake, okay? But a nice, roll up of ham will get the
Is
job
it
done.
nice? Also, it's warm in France, so it's already, the meat's probably already a little spoiled. I'm just thinking about the olfactory part of all of this with the fake meat wiener contraption.
But he's from France, so he gets a pass, when it comes to smell,
That's
allegedly. Speaking of dating, so this is from chipchick.com. Bill, where are you getting your stories now?
I think it might have been a smaller version, might have been a newser. But as you know, I'm a journalist, so I got the full story.
Gotcha.
Understand?
A 23-year-old man was working at his job, and his company hired a female designer, and he quickly became friendly with her, saying, I thought she was a cool person. I'm also interested in her field. So sometimes I'd initiate conversation, crack jokes, and just be overall friendly. However, his new female coworker interpreted this friendliness as flirting. And before long, she started pestering him to go on a date. She even asked him out once right in their office in the middle of the workday. While he wasn't interested, he didn't have the heart to reject her on the spot, saying, I'd find ways to subtly get out of the situation because I'm not attracted to her and wouldn't want to go out with anybody I work with, he explained. If she were hot, I think he would make an exception. Okay? So she started going as far as hugging me as soon as I came into the office every day. Then on one Friday night, he was out with coworkers at a bar. He got a text from her about, I guess, needing something at the office. He said he was out with coworkers. And then she was questioning why he never asked her to go out to drinks. Also asking if they could do something after the company's happy hour the following week. He said sure, thinking she meant a group thing, but she didn't. And they never set a time or a place. He doesn't want to do it. Bill, well, he's got to just come clean, yeah? He's got to either tell her a lie that he has a girlfriend or just also lie and say he doesn't date where he works.
Both those things are good. He's in a very bad situation here because Uh, I don't think it would be sexist to say that women are more sensitive when it comes to rejection for no other reason than most of the time it's the guy that has to make the first move. So we're just more used to it. It
Yeah,
happens to us a lot more than it happens to women. Rarely do, even in this day and age, they make the first move, ask out on the date and stuff like that. It's happening more and more, but it's still, and so that they're a little more thin-skinned when it comes to this stuff. Then you get the whole part of the equation that is their coworkers, making it
yeah.
even worse. And so I know exactly what he's doing. I can hear the tone in his voice while he's doing it. His voice goes up a couple of octaves, like, "Oh, well, yeah, I was just thinking that." It's like one of those things when he's trying to get out of it and coming up with every excuse in the book to just sort of avoid, bob and weave, distract, so as to not fall straight up, reject her. And because you still got to see her every day, so it's just acting like he thinks the whole thing's a joke, excuse after excuse. I think the fake girlfriend is the next. He's got to mix it up a little bit.
Well, do you think fake girlfriend or just adding some gay qualities is the right move?
Oh, huh. Well, but the only problem with that is, what if they're in the back of his head? He's like, what if someone really hot does start working here? Because
Yeah.
I tend to agree with you on the whole not dating coworkers unless
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
policy. And so as a guy, you don't want the gay thing getting out there too much because it might cramp your style. There's some bait
Totally. Yeah.
on the
Or
fifth.
watch, then you'll have there's a gay man in the office who's then being very flirty, friendly with you. And
I've had that problem. And I was, I don't, and it won't be too shocking that it was when I first moved here at Details Magazine. And I felt, and he was my senior editor. He was very aggressive, very touchy. And I don't know why I thought it would hurt me if I told him I was straight, but I certainly didn't flirt back or give any indication that I was okay for this. But I thought that I would somehow wound him if he found out that's just that I was straight. When in hindsight, that would have been the best way to do it because it so would have. Maybe I thought that if he thought he had a chance that it would somehow help me. I hate to think that. Perhaps that might have been part of it. But yeah, the whole thing would be always trying to make sure you're never alone in a room with them. It sucks.
oh gosh.
But this guy's got it a little better, I think. But yeah, it's tricky. I don't miss that aspect of the modern work environment. Although I do miss that type of work. In fact, I take that back. I'll take any of those problems for a good
You'll
paycheck.
take an environment.
Yes.
You just want an environment. Me too.
Yeah. Well, it's, I don't know. I mean, how often? I just think things have changed so much lately. Thanks, Me Too, by the way. It's such a good thing. When it comes to women, obviously they still go through this all the time. I think things have gotten certainly a lot better to the point where guys now err on the fact of not even making eye contact a lot of the time. But have you been in situations like this? The one good quality about yourself is, while I'm told other people find you attractive, again, I don't see beauty, you also do have that don't fuck with me look about you. So I'm sure that's gotten you out of certain situations. Yeah, you do have that sort of look where maybe she could kill me.
The only time when it's hard is if I'm bartending and there's a
sure.
guy who comes to the bar who mistakes my friendly hospitality and desire for a 20% tip
Yes.
for something more. Now it's really helpful that I am married and I wear a ring so they can see I am married. So even if I know some guys don't care about that, but even if they shoot their shot, I can very easily just say, no, I'm married, which is great. But
It's so weird. I'm not like I'm a predator. I never noticed the rings. It just never even occurred for me to look. And I suppose part of me didn't care either.
yeah.
When I was a younger lad. It just was never it was just never a thing that I thought about.
But I will say, bit of advice to any guy who is at a bar and trying to flirt with the bartender. if you leave her less than a 20% tip, you are an idiot. You not only won't get a date, you won't get good service the next time you come in. So it's
What if
always shocking to me.
what if you moonlight as a French pole vaulter and
See,
pay 10% still?
where do you keep your cash? Huh?
Why'd you say it like that?
Those little singlets don't have pockets, huh?
What's this tone? Where are you from?
Let's I don't know. Anyways, I have no
Oh, I
advice
just noticed
for
your
this guy.
Wilbur shirt.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. I was
Um,
wearing it this weekend.
Wobers, I'm running out of mustard. Send me more.
Nice.
All
I
right,
actually
Bill,
the Chris.
any plugs or promotions?
Uh no, I don't think of anything. The Pete Rose documentary is very good. How about yourself?
Let's do a More You Joe. Inspired by Olympics gymnastics, I started watching that Simone Biles documentary. I think it's on Netflix, and it's really good. It's really good. If you want to learn a little more about what happened in Tokyo when she pulled out of the last Olympics and sort of her time from then to now, what she was up to, it's really good and insightful, and I enjoy it.
She has cartoonishly large eyes like yourself. That's
Well,
probably
sure,
what
the
I like.
rest of her is so small, something's got to look big.
Yeah, yeah. You both have a weird Disney princess vibe. I will check it out.
All right. And thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.